Against Genocide webinar. We gather at a time of unspeakable horror. For nearly 3 months, Gaza has endured a medieval total blockade. No food, no water, no medicine. Over 70 children have already starved to death. Thousands more are dying silently. The elderly, the sick, the injured, denied even the most basic right to survive. And the world watches. This is not a natural disaster. This is a man-made extermination campaign. The deliberate starvation, bombing, and displacement of 2.3 million people unfolding in real time with full U.S. support. A genocide broadcast live. The current administration came with a promise of peace and ending wars. And yet, what is happening on the watch of President Trump is even worse than what happened under the previous administration. Almost 3 months of full starvation of a whole people is happening under the watch of President Trump and his administration and all American and Western institutions. They have no excuse. We know they can end it with one phone call. Their lies that the situation is complicated does not go anymore. Their lip service talk, empty talk about they are trying, but they cannot do it, that the situation is complicated, are not true. We know that they can impose sanctions on Israel. We know that one phone call will end this tragedy now and immediately. President Trump, you said that Biden is weak and he was not able to end it. Unfortunately, you are not showing the bravery and the longing for peace that you promised. We are calling upon you, upon your administration, and upon all institutions in the Western world to do what is right to end this genocide. Today, we're going to start with updates from our colleagues in Gaza, the doctors, the healthcare workers who are on the ground now reporting on this ongoing genocide. Then the second part will be dedicated to the crime of scholasticide that has been committed on our people in Palestine for the last 2 years. Again, thank you for joining us. We're going to start with our colleague, Dr. Munir al-Bosh from Gaza. He's the Director General of the Health Ministry and the health system in Gaza. Dr. Munir, are you with us?
السلام عليكم. نعم أنا معك.
أهلا وسهلا دكتور
حياكم
منير.
الله.
تشرفنا فيك. Welcome Dr. Munir. Dr. Munir will speak in Arabic and we will try to translate for him, me and Dr. Karam and our colleagues here. Dr. Munir, we feel you. We know how hard the situation is, and we know you are on the ground now and you are more aware than all of us about what's happening. So please share with us your updates about the situation. تفضل دكتور منير، احكي لنا عن الوضع في غزة وإيش حابب العالم يسمع عن اللي بيصير هناك.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تحية إليك وإلى جميع المستمعين والمشاهدين. الحقيقة أنا مدير عام وزارة الصحة الفلسطينية، والآن أشرف على لجان الطوارئ في شمال غزة. شمال غزة الطوارئ الصحية. شمال غزة اليوم يتعرض إلى مجزرة كبيرة. حتى اللحظة 140 شهيد منذ الصباح. طبعا
خلينا نترجم دكتور منير عشان ما انساش، وبعدين كل دقيقة وهيك بترجم اللي حكيته. So Dr. Munir al-Bosh, he is the Director General of the Health System in Gaza. He's sharing with us the situation that's unfolding, especially in the north of Gaza. He is mentioning that there is a full extermination campaign being committed now on the north of Gaza. So far, there is 170 people murdered in the last. تفضل دكتور منير. حكيت in the last
نعم
170 شهيد in the last 24 hours or 48 hours.
في منذ الصباح فقط، يعني 140 شهيد منذ الصباح.
170 people were murdered since this morning, just today. تفضل.
إجمالي الشهداء ما يقارب 53 ألف شهيد منذ 7 من أكتوبر، والجرحى 121 ألف جريح حتى اللحظة، من بينهم 36 ألف طفل جريح، ومن بينهم ما يقارب 16 ألف طفل شهيد. هذا الإجمالي للشهداء والجرحى.
So far, the total count, according to the health ministry records, since this genocide started, there is more than 53,000 civilians murdered, more than 110 injured. Out of those, more than 16,000 children have been murdered, and more than 36 injured child. تفضل.
طيب، أوكي. الاحتلال الإسرائيلي استهدف القطاع الصحي، وكان يعني منذ بداية الحرب يعني المستشفيات التي تعمل كان الهدف منها التدمير الممنهج. هناك سياسة ممنهجة لضرب القطاع الصحي.
So the Israeli campaign of genocide on the Palestinian people included the deliberate and intentional destruction of the healthcare system from day one. And as we all know, I'm adding this, as of now, every hospital, every clinic, every healthcare institution in Gaza has been attacked and bombed repeatedly. تفضل دكتور.
في غزة 38 مستشفى، قطاع عام وقطاع خاص. الآن يعمل 19 مستشفى بشكل جزئي، و19 مستشفى خرجوا عن الخدمة.
Gaza used to have 38 hospitals, both private and public. Out of all 38 hospitals, only 19 hospitals and centers are functioning now, but with very limited and partial capacity. 19 hospitals have been pushed out of service completely and rendered unfunctional. تفضل.
أيضا في غزة 103 مركز رعاية أولية، يعمل حاليا فقط 38، والباقي هو خارج الخدمة.
Out of 103 primary care centers in Gaza before this genocide, only 38 of them are functioning now with partial capacity.
الاحتلال استهدف الكوادر الطبية، قتل أكثر من 1400 كادر صحي، من بينهم 150 طبيب، 220 ممرض. بالأمس قتل 4 ممرضين من خيرة الممرضين الذين يعملون في الآي سي يو، العناية المركزة للأطفال.
Out of or part of the deliberate attack on the healthcare system, the genocidal Israeli forces murdered more than 1,400 healthcare workers. Out of those, more than 150 doctors, more than 220 nurses. Yesterday, they murdered one of the best nurses in the north, 4 nurses yesterday. And again, this is part of the deliberate attack on the healthcare system. تفضل دكتور.
من بين الذين قتلهم الاحتلال ابن عمي الدكتور عدنان البورش، وهو رئيس قسم العظام في مستشفى الشفاء، الذي اعتقله وعذبه وقتله تحت التعذيب، وهو معروف بشهاداته العلمية وخريج جامعات بريطانيا، وهو استشاري كبير كما هو معروف.
Out of those doctors who were murdered, by the Israeli genocidal forces is Dr. Al-Bursh cousin, Dr. Adnan Al-Bursh. I was actually about to ask you if you are related to him or not, but you answered me. Dr. Adnan Al-Bursh is a cousin of Dr. Munir Al-Bursh. Dr. Adnan Al-Bursh is a well-known orthopedic surgeon in Gaza. He was one of the brightest surgeons in Gaza. As we all know, Dr. Adnan Al-Bursh was illegally abducted and tortured in Israeli prisons, and he was murdered under torture, along with many others. There is still more than maybe 300 or 400 healthcare workers under detention, and this is all deliberate to destroy the healthcare system. تفضل دكتور.
أيضا اعتقل الاحتلال الإسرائيلي ما يقارب 360 من كوادرنا الطبية، وعلى رأسهم الدكتور حسام أبو صفية، وهو طبيب الأطفال المشهور في غزة الذي اعتقله الاحتلال من مستشفى كمال عدوان.
The Israeli forces also illegally detained and abducted more than 350 healthcare workers. Among them is Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, that we all know, the famous pediatrician, the head of Kamal Udwan Hospital, and all of them continue to be under unknown circumstances and being tortured in the Israeli torture camps.
الخدمات الصحية في غزة تراجعت بشكل كبير. عندما نتحدث عن أسرة المبيت انخفضت ما يقارب 52%. عندما أتحدث عن أسرة العناية المركزة أيضا من 312 سرير عناية أصبحوا فقط 52 سرير لقطاع غزة الذي يحوى أكثر من 2,400,000 نسمة.
Again, as part of the attack on the healthcare system, the capacity of the hospital healthcare system in Gaza is functioning at only 52% of available beds for patients. Regarding the ICU beds, out of 312 beds, ICU beds that Gaza had before this genocide, only 52 of them are functioning now. تفضل دكتور.
هناك نقص حاد في الأدوية. هناك أكثر من 45% من الأدوية الأساسية غير متوفرة. أكثر من 60% من المستلزمات الطبية أيضا غير متوفرة في قطاع غزة، والناس تموت بسبب نقص الدواء.
There is also severe shortage of medication. More than 55 of essential medications are not available in Gaza. More than 60% of medical supplies are unavailable. A lot of people and a lot of injured people and victims are dying due to the scarcity of medical care and medication and supply. تفضل.
ما يقارب 90% من الأسر الفلسطينية تواجه انعدام الأمن المائي والغذائي. هناك أيضا تلوث في المياه أدى إلى انتشار العديد من الأمراض بين المواطنين، من بينها شلل الأطفال، الوباء الذي لم نستطع القضاء عليه حتى اللحظة، وأمراض أخرى هي أمراض تعتبر وبائية.
More than 90% of the people and the families of Gaza are experiencing disastrous food and water insecurity. There is a complete lack of clean water and sanitation, which is leading to the spread of communicable diseases. Among them is the polio that we all heard about, and many, many other communicable diseases. And the situation is getting worse by the day with this total blockade. تفضل.
الاحتلال يمنع دخول الدواء والغذاء منذ أكثر من شهرين متتاليين. مات ما يقارب 57 طفل توفوا سوء التغذية، وهناك أيضا العديد من نسب IPC اللي هو تصنيف الأمن الغذائي تعدى حدود الخطر لدى جميع الفئات.
As we all know, Israel has imposed full criminal blockade on Gaza for more than 2 months, not allowing any food or water or medicine in. Up to now, more than 57 children have died of starvation. And according to the latest IPC report that Dr. Bush alluded to, we all know that this report that showed that 93% of people in Gaza are at high danger of starvation.
هناك ما يقارب 350 ألف مريض مزمن في غزة، من بينهم 80 ألف مريض سكري و110 ألاف مريض ضغط. هؤلاء جميعهم حرموا من الرعاية والمتابعة والعلاج.
In Gaza, there is more than 350,000 people who suffer from chronic illnesses. Out of those, 80,000 patients of diabetes and more than 110,000 patients of hypertension. All of those people suffer the lack of care for their chronic illness due to the destruction of the healthcare system and support. تفضل.
هناك وجدوا من طبعا من الأمراض الوبائية رجع مع هذه الحملة على غزة وباء شلل الأطفال البوليو. عملنا كومبين مع الأمم المتحدة اليونيسيف من أجل تطعيم 600 ألف طفل. طعمناهم في المرة الأولى ولابد من العودة عليهم مرة ثانية. الاحتلال يمنع دخول التطعيمات حتى اللحظة منذ شهرين، وهذه الحملة مع WHO واليونيسيف.
So, alluding again to the spread of the communicable diseases, including polio, there was a campaign to vaccinate children and vulnerable population against polio. The campaign included vaccinating 600,000 children. The Health Ministry, in cooperation with other NGOs, were able to deliver the first dose of polio vaccine to those children. But since the blockade, Israel denied the entry of more vaccine. And for the last 2 months, the second dose of the vaccine to make it effective has been denied from these vulnerable children.
هناك أكثر من 22 ألف مريض بحاجة ماسة للعلاج خارج غزة، لأن لا نستطيع علاجهم في غزة. منهم 13 ألف أتموا إجراءات التحويل ينتظرون السفر. توفوا أثناء انتظار السفر ما يقارب 350 مريض، وهم مسجلين لدى منظمة الصحة العالمية التي تشرف على عملية تفويج السفر إلى الخارج. فالاحتلال يعيق سفرهم ويغلق المعابر أمامهم.
There is almost 22,000 patients with complicated injuries in Gaza who require immediate medical evacuation outside of Gaza for more complicated care. 18,000 of them completed all the paperwork and necessities to be evacuated, but Israel is denying that. None of them is able to be evacuated. Almost 300 of them have died now, waiting on that evacuation. تفضل.
الاحتلال أيضا أحدث حالات بتر كثيرة. سجلت لدينا ما يقارب 4700 حالة بتر حتى اللحظة، من بينهم 1000 حالة للأطفال، حالات بتر في الأطراف العلوية والسفلية.
Regarding the amputations, they have already almost 4,700 cases of amputations. Among those, 1,000 child who have amputated either upper or lower or a combination of upper or lower extremities. تفضل.
أيضا عندما نتحدث عن أن الاحتلال يستهدف العائلات الفلسطينية. أكثر من 2000 أسرة فلسطينية تم استئصالهم ومحوهم من السجل المدني. وأضرب مثال: اليوم استشهد الصحفي أحمد الزيناتي وزوجته الدكتورة نور المدهون، وأولادهم الأطفال الصغار خالد ونور، حرقا في خيام اللاجئين في مواصي خان يونس. فقضى الاحتلال على العائلة كلها، وهناك أكثر من 2000 أسرة بهذه الطريقة قضى الاحتلال فيها على النسل الفلسطيني.
شو أسماء الأطفال، أطفال الصحفي لو سمحت؟
الأطفال نور وخالد. إذا دخلت على الإكس بتاعي التويترز، في صورة لخالد جميلة جدا يعني، وهو رضيع، وأيضا وهو محترق يعني. فالحقيقة يعني شيء مؤلم جدا والله.
Allah يرحمه. So part of the genocidal campaign and the extermination campaign against the people of Gaza is the erasure of complete family lineages. In Gaza so far, more than 2,000 families have been completely wiped out from the civilian registry. Uh, the latest of which is the family of the journalist Ahmad al-Zinati, who was murdered, him and his wife Noor al-Madhoun, and both of their children yesterday. So the
طبعا.
family has been completely wiped out.
نعم. طبعا هذه جريمة مركبة: قتل صحفي، وقتل طبيبة، أمه طبيبة أو زوجته طبيبة، وأطفال صغار. الاحتلال صار يعني يرتكب جرائم مركبة بمعنى الكلمة.
So this just one example of this journalist, this crime of how they call it it's like a multiple crime. They killed a journalist, they killed his wife who was a doctor, they killed their children, and they wiped out their family. It just shows us how vicious this genocidal machine, genocidal war is. تفضل.
الأطفال هم الأكثر تأثرا بهذه الحرب الإبادية على غزة.
Children are the most vulnerable and the most affected segment by this genocidal war.
ما يقارب لدينا أيضا ظهرت حالات تشوه أجنة وولادة يعني أجنة، أطفال مشوهين. سجلت ما يقارب 144 حالة حتى اللحظة، أن يلد الطفل بدون دماغ أو بدون اكتمال للنمو. وهذا يرجع إلى يعني استخدام الاحتلال الإسرائيلي للأسلحة المحرمة دوليا، وأيضا منعه من إدخال الأدوية المكملة مثل حمض الفوليك وغيره، ورعاية الأمومة والحمل. كل ذلك الآن يحصل في غزة.
Part of the attack on Gaza is also leading to the rise of severe birth defects. Part of the attack on motherhood and childhood. More than 144 cases of severe birth defects have been recorded in Gaza due to the use of these illegal and banned weapons, and due to the poor conditions that the mothers and the pregnant women in Gaza have to go through, with lack of food, lack of medication, lack of vitamins, lack of sanitation, and lack of access to healthcare. تفضل دكتور.
الأطفال أصلا هم محميون بموجب القوانين والمواثيق الدولية خلال فترة الحروب والنزاعات. لكن الحقيقة عندما يعني أذكر الأرقام خاصة للأطفال، يعني أرقام مذهلة عندما نتحدث عن 319 طفل ولدوا واستشهدوا أثناء الحرب، يعني ولدوا وفي الحرب ماتوا. 895 طفل استشهدوا دون عمر السنة. 17 طفل مات من البرد في خيام النازحين. قلنا أن
كم طفل مات من برد يا حكيم؟
17 طفل. 57 طفل ماتوا بسبب الجوع وسوء التغذية. 40 ألف طفل يتيم الآن، أكبر أزمة يتم في العالم. منهم يتيم الوالدين وما يقارب 1955، يتيم الأب 33 ألف، يتيم الأم 4500. الحقيقة يعني أرقام الأطفال يعني مخيفة جدا. ما يقارب 7700 طفل رضيع مهددون بالموت لنقص التغذية. التطعيم نفسه انخفض من نسبة 99%، كان قبل الحرب، إلى 86%. الحقيقة عندما نتكلم عن عدد الأسر التي تعرضت للمجازر، ما يقارب 14 ألف أسرة. عدد الأسر التي مسحت وتبقى ناجي واحد حوالي 5300 أسرة. يعني هذه أرقام فقط يعني، ولدينا أرقام كثيرة بهذا الخصوص.
Despite all
تفضل.
the international and universal laws and Geneva Convention for the rights of children and the protection of children, this segment has been actually deliberately attacked by the Israeli genocidal forces. Hundreds and hundreds of children who were born during this genocide have also been killed. More than 350 children have been killed who are younger than 1 year old. There's more than 40,000 children who are orphaned now in Gaza. And of course, all the children in Gaza are at the risk of famine and starvation and lack of any medical care at this point. تفضل حكيم.
أنا أرسلت لك صورة الطفل خالد اللي حرق يعني الليلة مع أمه وأبيه. الحقيقة مشهد مرعب على الواتس.
لا بحاول
While Nidal is looking for the picture, Dr. Al-Bursh is mentioning that there is a picture of a child and the parents who were burned to death.
The parents are the journalist,
The journalist and the doctor.
his wife, the doctor, and both of their children. Maisa, did you get the picture? I shared it with you, please.
Yes, I will share it in 1 second.
قديش عمر هذا يا حكيم الطفل؟
نعم، طفل رضيع لسه، يعني شهرين بالكثير.
Yeah.
Wow.
طبعا هناك ما يقارب
Just to let everyone know that it will be graphic, so just a warning.
هذا الطفل خالد الزناتي. كنت بالأمس يعني بالليل بالضبط، يعني حرق الاحتلال الخيمة التي يسكن فيها هو وأبوه. أبوه صحفي معروف. المنطقة اللي جالسين فيها مواصي خان يونس هي مناطق آمنة. الاحتلال يعني يرسل الناس هناك كونها مناطق آمنة. طبعا خالد حرق في الخيمة مع أبوه اللي هو الزناتي، وهو صحفي معروف. أمه دكتورة، اسمها الدكتورة نور زياد المدهون. هذا ابنهم خالد. وأيضا يعني المشهد كما ترون يعني
So Dr.
هناك
Bush is,
مشاهد.
yeah, Dr. Bush sharing the story of the child Khalid Al-Zanati. He's less than 1 year old. His father, the journalist Ahmad Al-Zanati, his mother, the doctor Noor Al-Madhoun, were attacked in their tent in Mawasi Khan Yunis, despite being staying, and the tent is being staying in a safe zone area. This just tells you that no one in Gaza is safe, no child is safe. This is a deliberate attack on life itself, and it is an extermination campaign. For everyone who sees the picture of this beautiful child being burned to death, along with all his family, his father, his mother, what crime did this child commit to deserve an American bomb paid and sent to Israel for free as a gift? The most powerful country in the world, the country that preaches human rights and freedoms and democracy to the whole world, is using its all power, its most sophisticated and most lethal weapons in the world, its most influence and complicity to mass slaughter babies and children and civilians. For all of us, the Americans, the Westerners who are here on board, the healthcare workers, the doctors, please wake up. Please look at this child face deeply and see where your money, where your taxes is going through, and see what your leaders and your elected officials are committing in your name. They don't care for them. They only want to ensure their political survivor, but they don't care what is being committed in our name as Americans and as civilians of this world. And I don't think many Americans approve of this or voted their officials to commit these crimes in their name. Every single bomb, every single bullet, every single missile that murdered children in Gaza is American, British, and German made. For those countries, the Western Empire that has been preaching universal values and human rights for centuries, this is their real face. Murderers of babies. Please look at the picture very closely. Thank you. تفضل دكتور.
طبعا المشاهد، أنا آسف يعني المشاهد، لكن هذه المشاهد على طوال الحرب وأنا أشاهدها. والحقيقة يعني دائما وأبدا تذكرني هذه المشاهد أيضا بقتل الاحتلال لابنتي الجميلة جنان، الذي قتلها الاحتلال الإسرائيلي، هي نائمة في حضني.
بنتك انت
وأنا
دكتور؟
أصبت يعني
بنتك انت؟
إصابة يعني بليغة وجنان. نعم بنتي. جنان.
استشهدت؟
وأصبت، استشهدت رحمة الله عليه. أبعث الأسرة.
ممكن صورتها لو سمحت؟
لا.
So Dr. Al-Bursh apologizing for
بعت
showing
لك إياه،
these.
بس أنا لازم أرد على التليفون بعد إذن، لا أكون على الجزيرة
Okay.
بعد.
تفضل.
انتظرني
Okay.
فقط. ألو.
So Dr. Al-Bursh is apologizing,
الله يبارك.
yeah, for sharing these pictures for us.
الله.
And my answer to him is, you don't need to apologize for exposing these crimes, Dr. Al-Bursh. The ones who need to apologize are the ones who are committing them, the ones who are sending the bombs to commit and murder children. So please do not apologize. if they are that sensitive, if they have any conscience, if they have any morality, they should not be committing these crimes to start with. So their vulnerability is fake, and we do not approve of it. It is America, it is the West who should be apologizing, not you, Dr. Al-Bush. Dr. Al-Bush is sharing that his beautiful daughter too, and he himself were injured. And he is going to share with us the picture of his daughter when he has a chance. Maybe we'll do it that later because he has an urgent phone call. And inshallah, he will be back with us soon. So for the meantime, we're gonna go with Hamza Nabhan, a medical student stationed in the North Indonesian hospital in the last 3 years. Hamza, are you there?
Hello, Dr. Lindar. I'm here.
Yeah, can you put on your camera or it's hard?
Okay.
If you can.
Okay.
So Hamza,
Wait,
you have been in the north of Gaza in the Indonesian hospital for the last 3 years, and I know you told me how terrible the situation is in the last few weeks and a few days. Please share with our audience, with our colleagues here, what is the situation in the north of Gaza now. تفضل.
أنا آسف ما عندي ضوء ما أقدر أفتح الكاميرا.
It's okay. ولا يهمك.
Okay. أول شيء شكرا.
Because of the limited connections in Gaza, he will not be able to share the video. He will be just speaking with us with his voice. تفضل Dr. Hamza.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Munir, for your kind words. I would like to begin by thanking Doctors Against Genocide organization for their invaluable support to the medical teams in Gaza, and for giving me this opportunity to share some of what I have witnessed and live through with my own eyes. What I will say is not hearsay. It's a living testimony from the heartfelt. As you know, the past 6 days have been among the most tragic and brutal. Random bombardment, repeated massacres, and a massive number of casualties poured into hospitals. Places that are supposed to be safe havens, not war zones. I worked for consecutive days in the Indonesian hospital, during which I slept for only 9 hours. My colleague, you and I, the medical staff, are working at our maximum capacity, trying to manage the flow of casualties while the occupation uses the tragic simultaneous mass bombardment, striking in numerous locations at once to paralyze civil defense ambulances and medical teams. In recent days, Gaza has been subjected to some of the heaviest bombardment yet. The area surrounding the Indonesian hospital has been under particularly intense fire. At 5 a.m. today, at 5 a.m., the occupation surrounded the hospital by quadcopters and opened heavy and direct gunfire toward it. The building shook as bullets tore through windows and walls. For over 7 hours, we struggled to evacuate the hospitals under relentless fire, an operation carried out under extreme duress, risking the lives of patients and staff alike. Many patients were injured during the assault, some by shattered glass from the windows, other by falling forced seals that collapsed on top of them. It was harrowing scenes that no word can truly describe, and yet it was one of many. Our emergency department has only 22 beds, 4 of which are ICU beds. We have only 2 ventilators and 3 ambo bags in the ER. One night we received 8 patients needing immediate intubation. We managed to intube only 5. The remaining 3 were left without the care they urgently needed, simply because we lacked the equipment. The ICU is full. Every bed holds a patient hovering between life and death. Let me tell you the story of one case. A 7-year-old girl, unknown identity, with a head injury, lying on the ground because there were no vacant beds. Her Glasgow Coma scale was 7 from 15, and she had an cornea in the left eye, urgently needing intubation, but we had no tools to do it. I decided to become her brother and father until her family was found. I held her bloodied body in my arms and transferred her by the ambulance to Al Ahli Hospital, 8 kilometers away, under great danger. At 4:30 a.m., there was another child in the ambulance with a severe head trauma. On the way, her condition destroyed. Oxygen or saturation become 76%. I suctioned her airway, placed her on oxygen, and to hotel she left, and we did everything we could. On arrival, imaging revealed a severe subdural hematoma with the intracranial hemorrhage. The other child had a large shrapnel injury, a large penetrating shrapnel in the frontal area. We performed surgery with our neurosurgeon in the hospital, despite extreme shortage. We had only one dull cranial drill blade, and it does not work. So we use alternative tools like Ranjor, Carison. We also had issue with the cautery and bipolar, which slowed the operation. We implanted her bone flap in her abdomen and struggled to find an ICU bed. She survived. Now her general condition is very good. Yesterday, I met her in the department. Her Glasgow Coma scale become 13 from 15, and she is conscious oriented. And I take a picture with her. We finally learned her name. Her name is Sarah Al-Basuni. Her mother was killed, martyred. Her father critically injured, and her siblings are were lost. Sarah became one of our one. After an airplane bombing shattered the glass through her window, she was wounded in the face again, and we stitched her. Another case, an infant girl, 5 months old, completely orphaned in the ICU. The false ceiling collapsed over her head, causing another injury. We stitched her wound like so many others. Most of the casualties are children, each injury holding a tragedy beyond imagination. One night, we received over 100 injuries. We are in between the wounded. Every minute, someone is martyred, someone loses a limb, someone is appeared under their home. Someone loses their mom, their mother, father, suppose, or children. The whole world watches and remains silent. By day 4, my body collapsed from exhaustion and lack of food. I returned home to get some nourishment, not to rest, but because my body gave me no choice. Hospitals are bombed, invaded, destroyed. Borders are closed. Medication are banned. Basic medical supplies are non-existent. The occupation even deprives us of oxygen, dropping chemicals, smokes, and white phosphorus bombed on us. My sister, who had twins after 8 years of fighting, lost them due to severe phosphorus inhalation poisoning. That night, I resuscitated them 4 times until we managed to reach Beit Al Khair clinic, operating on its first day. There were no intubators, but it was too late. We lost them. Allah yarhamhum. Days later, the same clinic was bombed by the occupation. A month later, my sister lost her husband too. This is how families are raised in Gaza. No safe places, no schools, no hospitals, no shelters. No shelters. Medical staff are killed and arrested. Al-Azhar University and the Islamic University were bombed. The Faculty of Medicine building was destroyed. The Turkish hospital once become the south was demolished. The European hospital, which housed the only cancer and cardiac surgery unit in Gaza, was rendered non-functional. All the hospitals. All this happens while the world stays silent. Doctors have witnessed hundreds of killing inside hospitals, in pediatric psychiatry and other words. It's a deliberate strategy to destroy hospitals and force people to flee. Facilities that should be protected under international law are being systematically targeted. The Israeli military has killed nearly 1,400 people in the healthcare system, 400 healthcare worker, and currently imprisoned in the Israeli prison system. There is a critical shortage of all supplies, imaging equipments, and
Hamza, are you there? Hello? Can we share the videos that Hamza shared with us, please, while trying to get his connection back? Myself, please. So these are
Yes.
pictures and videos shared from Hamza. And again, we know the situation in Gaza, especially in the north, is very critical now. Their access to internet, their access to life is completely unpredictable. Every one of them is a target. This is the video he just shared from the Indonesian hospital last night. One of the nurses who's still there.
هذا ما يحصل عندما يتم محاصرة المستشفى وأنت بداخله على رأس عملك. هذا حالنا كمقدمي رعاية وخدمات صحية داخل المستشفى الأندونيسي. يتم الحصار كما ترون من جميع الجوانب. لا خروج من المستشفى، لا مغادرة. كل من يغادر يعرض نفسه للخطر الجسيم وخطر الموت. هذه الشبابيك التي ترونها لا نستطيع الوقوف عليها أو النظر منها. تتواجد الطائرات المسيرة خلف هذه الشبابيك، وتتواجد الطائرات الغير مأهولة خلف هذه الشبابيك تقوم بقنص أو استهداف كل من يقف عليها. كما ترون قسم عناية مركزة في مستشفى الأندونيسي. نقدم الخدمة بالمرحلة الأدنى أو بالكيفية الأدنى، تحت الخوف وتحت القصف وتحت الرعب. كما ترون هذا ما يحصل عندما يتم.
So what Hamza shared with me, this is a video from inside the Indonesian hospital. The Indonesian hospital has been put under full blockade in the last few days. It was forced to evacuate. The critical cases and the patients who are still in the hospital are not able to evacuate. Only few nurses and doctors are left inside the hospital. As he's sharing, that was the scene from the inside the ICU unit with critical cases who are still inside and they are not able to evacuate. The few nurses who are there are trying to do whatever they can to help them with the minimum supplies and the medication that they have. He's saying that the captors and the quadcopters are surrounding the hospital. They are not even allowed to go nearby the windows because anyone who comes close to the windows will be attacked. تفضلي.
Second video.
مين هو؟ قدم افتح طريق افتح طريق يلا روح روح روح
So I'm just gonna stop here and then advance.
This was an attack from yesterday in North Gaza Jabalia camp. As you can see, attack and mass slaughter of civilians everywhere, in the streets, everywhere. The same scenes and horrible crimes from North Gaza, from Jabalia camp, and as you see, many of the victims are children and elderly in the other video that
I don't know if they could hear in the background, but the woman who was injured, I think her child was screaming "Mama, Mama" in the background.
wow.
Okay, the next one. I think this is kind of the similar.
As you can see, deliberate and endless attack on everyone, the children, the elderly, and everyone. These are scenes from inside the Indonesian hospitals, from the emergency room there. This is the face of the American power and bombs. Lifeless children. Burned children. The United States, the Western Hemisphere. This is your true face. Burned children. This is your true face. Okay. Again, unfortunately, I mean, we lost connection with most of our colleagues from Gaza for understandable reasons. May God protect them. May God end this slaughter.
Nidal,
تفضل إكرام.
should we have Dr. Nader just quickly give us an update on his situation since
Yes, sure.
he's here? Dr. Nader?
Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone.
وعليكم السلام
Can you
دكتور
hear me?
نادر. بس إذا بتعطينا على السريع مختصر عن إيش الوضع هلأ، لأنه بدنا نروح على المجموعة الثانية لو سمحت.
Of course. Would you like me to talk about the education?
No, what we want is anything that's urgently happening in Gaza now that we need to focus on. The education, we have a program for that already.
Okay. So if we are talking about the last 72 hours,
Yes.
I will talk here as a citizen of Gaza, not as a doctor. For the last 72 hours, all the people of Gaza have a lot of fears that the night is coming. Whenever the darkness comes, we realize and know that the bombing is starting. Yesterday, for example, since after 9 p.m., we had small earthquakes each few minutes. The bombs which have been used is something different, something that we didn't used to feel or to hear. It is something big, and it is a mix of everywhere, east, west, south, north. You will just hear bombs everywhere, and you don't understand or realize why this is happening. There is no fighting, there is no resistance, there is nothing, but why this is happening? This is, for example, about the intensity of the bombing. If we talk about the places that have been bombed, weirdly, we have noticed that the places where the civilians gather for getting food or for getting aids or for getting help is the target points. There they are targeted. For example, near to our clinic where we serve the patients, there is a school which used as a shelter. And at that school, some volunteers cook food and prepare food for all the family who are very hungry. And you know the famine situation in Gaza, there will be a long lines there waiting to get food. And it's known that they start to gather there by 11 and starting to get food by 12. And at 11:30, while all of the people were waiting to get food, a place bombed, and there was hundreds of injuries, as the people who witnessed that described to me. And the people who were in the targeted point, they couldn't recognize their features or their faces. It's weird weapons what they use, and make the bodies hard to recognize or to understand what they have faced or what weapons they have used over them. I think that this night is also going to be the same as the previous 3 days, but with different victims. As it is 8 p.m. now in Gaza, I think by 9 or 10 the bombing will start. It's something horrible that really, really hard to describe.
Thank you, Dr. Nader. We also have some voice messages from Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra, who could not also join us due to the internet connection. We're going to share the voice messages that he shared with us about the urgency of the situation on the ground now in Gaza. Maisa, if do you have those, please, or?
Sorry, I need to download them still. Just give me a few minutes. Maybe we can discuss
Sure.
something else.
I
in the
can
minute.
I
Go
can
ahead.
play them. Yeah, I can play them.
I don't know if it's gonna work with the
my colleagues,
Can
I
you hear?
want to put you on updating about the hospital situations. The occupation's systematic action against hospitals have made it impossible to continue providing medical care to the injured patient. Absolutely. The occupation's practices have rendered major hospitals out of services. As you heard about the European hospital, it completely nowadays stopped to receive patients as they attack it and destroyed all the infrastructures of the European hospital. When we are talking about the European hospitals, we are talking about main hospital that it was covering nearly 500,000 people from Rafah city and from eastern area of Khan Yunis. Nowadays, we notice that the percentage of children increases by the attacks. Before ceasefire, it was 30%. Nowadays, we are talking about 50% of the targeted patients or targeted people, they are children, unfortunately. Occupational drones directly fired the intensive care unit of Indonesian hospital. 4 patients were currently treated in the ICU, and 2 more are in the urgent need for intensive care, but services cannot be longer be sustained in Indonesian hospitals. El Auda Hospital was targeted with shelling and drone fire, putting the patient and the wounded patient and medical team at direct risk. The occupation continues to block the borders of medical supplies and also still stopping the surgeries and the teams to come inside Gaza. So they are targeting the medical health sector completely. All of the ICUs, operating rooms, and emergency department are operating under catastrophic condition due to a shortage of life-saving medical items and medical supplies.
I think that,
as we mentioned before, 2 vaccination are not available nowadays in Gaza. We are talking about rotavirus for diarrheal disease and poliomyelitis for prevention of poliomyelitis virus. Today, I contact my colleague in the primary health care. He told me that all the vaccines will be lost within 45 days in Gaza. This means that all the scheduled vaccination program of pediatric will be stopped completely within 45 days.
thank you so much for listening to these urgent messages. I just want to reiterate the reason why we have these webinars every week and the reason why we insist on hearing the stories from our colleagues in Gaza firsthand is because we want every one of you to hear these stories and spread them and talk about them and bring them to your hospitals, to your associations, to your medical societies, to your workplace, and talk about what we hear together. The media is not doing its job. The politicians are complicit, and we refuse to be silent, and we refuse to be just bystanders doing nothing. So the recordings are available on YouTube. You can always go there. We cut them into small pieces so that they're easier to share on social media and on emails. We use them when we go to the Hill to speak to our representatives. I think we have a big reservoir of first-hand knowledge that is coming from Gaza, and it's not just for us to hear and do nothing. It's for us to hear and use the information to speak up, to be witnesses that are demanding justice and demanding accountability. I know it is very frustrating that we see this and it seems like we're not able to do anything, but imagine if we are even not afforded the chance to actually hear firsthand and not knowing what to do. So we insist on doing something. We want you to join us, and we want you to participate in campaigns like Bread Not Bombs, and protest. Join us on the Hill when we go there once a month. We want the medical community to be mobilized to the max, and we are making some progress, but we need all of us to work together to make a big difference, inshallah. I think we will switch now to Dr. Thomas Padroni. Dr. Thomas, he is Doctors Against Genocide, cherished member and friend. And he put together this part of the webinar today with the title Scholasticide, the intentional destruction of the educational infrastructure in Palestine. Dr. Padroni is a professor in Wayne State University. He is also an author. He teaches curriculum studies and policy sociology. And please take it from there, Thomas. Thank you.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's very heavy. And thank you for all of our presenters who have shared with us already the updated reports. So yeah, in this section of the webinar, we're going to address scholasticide, the intentional destruction of educational infrastructure and personnel, centering voices from Gaza and the West Bank on the state of schools and universities across Palestine. We will also consider how scholasticide manifests in higher education in the West through repression, defunding, and the termination of partnerships, and how this repression plays an absolutely crucial role in the perpetration of the genocide. We'll close with the rollout of a new Doctors Against Genocide initiative called NABQA HUNA, or We Will Stay, which supports the piloting of reconstruction initiatives in the health and education sectors in Gaza. Our first speaker in this section of the webinar will be Sundas Hamad, who is the coordinator at Birzeit University of the Right to Education campaign. We've asked her to give an overview of scholasticide at both the university and school levels in Gaza, but also across Palestine, and anything else that she would like to bring to our attention as well. So the floor is yours, Sundas. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Thomas, and thank you for everyone for being here. After all what we have listened to, it's really coming very heavy to speak about education and to speak about anything else except what is happening in Gaza. So sorry for, I have prepared for a presentation, and I think mostly I will be speaking genuinely about the situation of education rather than following the presentation. First of all, thank you all for being here, and I feel very honored actually to be following my colleagues in Gaza after what they said. The ways of resilience that they are showing us. They are not only doctors. They are trying to be reporters. They are like activists. They are everything in one. They're trying to do whatever they can, just not to be erased, and to tell the world that they still exist and still alive. And today my presentation is about scholasticide. And to be starting with this, I want to link why we are speaking about scholasticide. Why we are speaking about education at the time of genocide, where we might think that the priority now is to survive this genocide. But looking to Gaza, we are seeing that the universities of Gaza, the schools of Gaza, have resumed education under the bombardment and between the rubble. They have been doing their best to preserve that education because it means the world to them. Can you please share my presentation so I can? Yeah. Thank you. So next slide, please. So why education in Palestine is being systematically targeted? To look at this as under the context of the settler colonialism in Palestine, you need to know that education becomes a tool of resilience, liberation, and indigenous people empowerment for Palestinians, not only from now under the genocide, but since the Nakba and even before. While ignorance is a potent ally of the settler colonialism, it keeps the status quo, and it keeps the dominating narrative of the occupier and the colonizer. So for us as Palestinians, we have been all the time believing in our education, not only a way to knowledge, but also a way to just preserving our identity as Palestinians living under this settler colonialism. And speaking about scholasticide, it's not a new term and it's not a new phenomenon. Scholasticide has been coined as a term in 2009 by the prominent Palestinian scholar Karma Nablsi. At the 2009, it was after the 2008-2009 assault on Gaza, and when she wrote about it, it meant the systematic destruction of education, the deliberate systematic destruction of education on a school level, on higher education level, to just stifle the physical infrastructure of learning and also destruct the intellectual growth of Palestinian people. And this term has been widely spread since the start of the genocide by Scholars Against the War in Palestine, where they did a toolkit about scholasticide, showing cases of what does that mean. And in my presentation, I want to emphasize that scholasticide is not a new phenomena, and it's not a collateral damage, and it's the mean of just taking away the essence of Palestinian life. Next slide, please. This is a very well-known a map of Palestine, Palestinian loss of land. And while you are looking at it, you can see the Gaza Strip and the West Bank at the end of the last map. And it's like fragmented, where this is like the Palestinian state. You cannot even connect the state. And there's a lot of fragmentation because of the restriction of movement, the checkpoint, the apartheid wall, the siege on Gaza. So it has been long started before this genocide. Next slide, please. We as Palestinians believe that education is not a privilege, while the occupier or the Israeli colonizer thinks that it's a privilege where at any time they can practice collective punishment on Palestinians and take away their right to education. We believe it's not a privilege. In the 1948 Nakba, Palestinians while more than half of population of Palestinians were exiled, forcibly displaced outside of Palestine. We built schools in the deserts. In the first uprising in 1988, while education was considered illegal by the Israeli occupation, all schools, universities, even kindergartens and nurseries were forcibly closed by military orders from the Israeli occupation. One of them, my university, Birzeit University, which was closed for 4.5 consecutive years. You would, at that time, be imprisoned by the Israeli occupation just for holding books or holding underground system of education. So at that time, we didn't, we were not desperate, and we fighted that military orders, and we had our classes in front of the campus, the closed campus of Birzeit University, same as like so many universities in the West Bank and Gaza. We continued our education. Next slide, please. And today in Gaza, as you see, this is a school that was initiated in September 2024. And we have many pictures documenting university classrooms in the tents between the rubble and under the bombardment. So what these people in Gaza are showing us is more than resilience. They are the hero of the current history. And I cannot imagine how they are doing it. If I say, if I was on their place, I would be thinking about the safety of my family and kids. Them are all the time thinking of the future and just hanging on to their education because it's the only way to a better future for them. So this gives us an example to not be desperate about the situation, and we have no excuse. No matter where we are, we have no excuse to just do nothing for these people. We must do everything that we can to stop this genocide. Next slide, please. So I'll be showing, not to take a lot of time, I will be showing some cases of violations, some visual and some invisible or non-visual violations towards education or higher education, basically in Palestine. And this is, again, to emphasize the importance of looking at scholasticide as a form of continuous and systematic destruction of education. And it's part and parcel of this genocidal war on Gaza. Next slide, please. So as I said, you can go over all of this slide, please. Yeah. So in this timeline, and I can share the presentation afterwards with you guys. So it shows that since the establishment of Birzeit University as a university in 1972 until the current situation, there has been multiple layers of violations towards the our university by not only closing the university for 15 times by military orders between the years 1972 and 1988, but also the checkpoints, the restriction of movement, the arrestment of the students and faculty members, the exile of the first president of the university for 19 years, and just targeting the international researchers and scholars and even students who are trying to come and study at our university. Next slide, please. This is a document that shows the military order of closure of the university in 1987 at the first uprising, which was again saying that the university is closed for it was closed for 51 consecutive months. Next slide. So we are not the only university that suffers under the occupation. Al-Quds University, for example, more than 70% of the students at that university must go through checkpoints on a daily basis just to go to university. And more than 17% of the land of the university was confiscated by the Israeli occupation to build the apartheid wall on the land of the university. Same as Al-Khuduri University in Tulkarem and other universities in the West Bank. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. So for Gaza University students, this has not started in the after the siege on Gaza in 2007 or even in this genocide. It has been longly starting since actually the fragmentation of the Palestinians has been started after the PA was established in 1991. So there has been a lot of fragmentation by doing a lot of procedures to just not let the students have access to the university. So this is a leaflet of a campaign that was made in 1996 for Gaza students to be able to study at the West Bank universities because they were not allowed to study then only by permits. And these permits were mostly taken away from them as a collective punishment, as I mentioned before. So today in our university, for example, more than 60% of our university students are coming from Ramallah and the region near Ramallah. So there's a lot of like exchange of knowledge between even Palestinians themselves because of that restriction of movement. And even after the war, there has been a huge escalation of settler violence and checkpoints. More than 900 checkpoints are separating Palestinians in the West Bank. And for Gaza students to be able to come to the West Bank, it was even impossible before the war. We have only 2 students from Gaza Strip that are studying at Birzeit University. So saying this, you cannot imagine the effect of that on our higher education if you are looking from abroad. But living a daily basis under occupation, that affects even the local characteristics of the universities. It becomes more localized and isolated rather than universal or international universities. And that is de-developing us as Palestinian society, but also making it really hard for the new generation to know their identity, recognize their identity as Palestinians, especially their collective identity. So I cannot connect with Gaza students, I cannot connect with Gaza scholars, but even I cannot connect with scholars across the West Bank and even the 48 occupied land Palestinians. So, and please, next slides. These are some photos of raids on campuses in the West Bank in the middle of the night. Mostly it was made in the middle of the night, but in the recent years, since 2008, we had like many raids in the middle of the day while students were there. And mostly the raids were to arrest students or kidnap students who are part of the student movement from campus under the threat of guns and and we have seen mostly what happened in Al-Quds University in the medical campus 1 month ago, where they raided campus just to prevent students from demonstrating for Gaza against the genocide. Next slide, please. So the criminalization of student movement, there's a lot of criminalization and targeting of student movement by arresting students or even killing them. So in Birzeit alone, we have 38 students who have been killed by the Israeli occupation. And last year, and the 15th of May, and on Nakba Day, we lost one of the students. And that also, when you see what is happening in Gaza, there is a lot of students, like unknown number of students actually arrested by the Israeli occupation. We cannot document even the numbers. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Next. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, so regarding the situation in Gaza, I will be just showing you some of the pictures because I'm sure that Dr. Ahmed Abu Sha'ban will be emphasizing more and about the situation for higher education institutions in Gaza. But I want to just show you some pictures about Scholasticide in Gaza. Next slide, please. So there has been a lot of targeting for students and faculty members since the start of the war. As the Palestinian Ministry of Education and Higher Education in Palestine has occurred, that more than 10,000 students have been killed, at least since the start of the genocidal war in Gaza. all higher education institutions in Gaza have been bombed partially or completely, so they cannot operate. More than 2/3 of the Gaza schools have been targeted while being used as shelters by displaced people. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So these are some of the pictures that shows universities in Gaza before the war and after the war. You can see the bombardment of the infrastructure of the universities. This is Al-Azhar University and the Islamic University of Gaza. Next slide, please. This is Al-Aqsa University. These are the three main largest popular universities in Gaza, where they provide more than 80% of higher education for the students, or 80%. They cover the higher education for 80% of students in higher education in Gaza. Next slide, please. So this is a list that combines part of the names of the most prominent scientists, deans, and university presidents of Gaza who got assassinated with their families during this war. And that means that it's not a collateral damage. Again, the Scholasticide is targeting the people who can lead the way after Gaza or after the war in Gaza. So four university presidents have been assassinated. Many deans and scientists have been killed. The list go on for more than 130 of the most prominent scholars in Palestine, actually. Next slide, please. What we can do today is, as Dr. Nidal said in the start, the world is watching. And we as Palestinians are done surviving this genocide and this occupation. And we are done just letting the world, just waiting for the world to do an action. Governments will not do any change to the status quo, and we will not end this occupation, settler colonialism, unless the people are working together collectively towards that. You can make a difference and you can make a change. You might say that my words today will not do anything, but they will. You will, even on your kids, in your community, in your university, in your workplace, you can make a huge difference. The Palestinian narrative now is like mostly dominated by people around the world, but yet like we need an action. Now you know what is happening. It's live streamed. You don't need me or these doctors to tell you what is happening in Gaza. It's live streamed. You can see it on your mobile. But we need a collective action towards ending that. Next slide, please. This is a quote from the Emergency Committee of Gaza Universities, which Dr. Ahmed Abu Sha'ban, who's here, is a member of it. And I'm really honored to have him and to be speaking right beside him in this webinar, where he is one of the most prominent scholars who believe in that in education in Gaza is the way of a better future for Gazan students. And in May last year, there was a unified call from Gaza University academics and administrators, and they said, we built these universities from tents, and from tents, with the support of our friends, we will rebuild them once again. And I believe that everyone who are still here in this webinar believes that they can do something. There are many ways where you can do. Like Doctors Against the Genocide have been like sending some campaigns that you can be part of. but also you can help higher education institutions in Gaza by following the steps of the emergency committee in Gaza, where I leave the floor for Dr. Ahmed Abu Sha'ban to more speak about it and share with you the priorities and needs of the Gazan people. And just to finalize my presentation, I would just simply ask you, please, to always to amplify the voices of the people of Gaza and make sure that we are supporting them, not replacing or erasing their existence and their voices. So with that, I end my presentation, and thanks again for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Sundas Hamad, coordinator of the Right to Palestine campaign at Birzeit University. We've known you for a little bit over a month now, and since you participated in our first webinar a month ago, we knew we had to have you back. You frame the issues so perfectly. Your presentation is so clear. Your passion is right at the surface, and you will get us to reflect on what is most important and to get us to think to a way forward as well. And I think that your transition is also perfect for bringing on board our next speaker. So I want to thank you for doing my work for me as we move now to Dr. Ahmed Abu Sha'ban of the Emergency Committee of Universities in Gaza. Perhaps
Thank you very much. I'm not sure, I may have a problem with my camera, but
I was going to brag about you some more, but please go ahead.
yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for organizing this. Many thanks for all the voices coming from Gaza. Many thanks to Sundus for her brilliant presentation and reflection. And maybe, I mean, it's very difficult if we would like to talk about anything positive from all what's going on and all these atrocities. But maybe if we can speak only of one thing positive out of all this, this is an eye-opening for what's going on in Palestine. Because this is not new. I mean, when we talk about scholasticide, as Sundus explains, the first time actually we just got to know this terminology that was already in 2009, reflection actually of a long-term targeting of the education system in a very systematic way, because I think we have here, we need actually to contextualize this. This is a long-term settler colonialism project that has started around 100 years ago with a very clear agenda to evacuate the people out of their land by challenging all means of life for the people, to make the life on this land for the indigenous people of Palestine impossible. Targeting all means of life. When I talk about all means of life, I talk about health, education, environment, infrastructure, public services. Everything is targeted in a very systematic way and long before this genocide. So the genocide, what's going on right now is kind of like they are trying to conclude the project. You know, it is, and it is also a reflection of their failure because of the resilience of the Palestinian people. You know, as if they are saying, okay, we keep killing those people, but they never die. Yeah. So I mean, like when Sundus was just like showing some examples along the history how the education system was targeted. This is only like examples of this. I just may add very relevant example of my university, my faculty. You know, I am now the dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Medicine. 32 years ago, I was undergrad student in the same faculty. During those 32 years, the building of my faculty was destroyed 3 times. And it was destroyed the 4th time during this war. So it means it was destroyed 3 times. It was also rebuilt 3 times. And what is going on during this war? So it is, the Israelis decided, okay, we are trying to destroy parts of their buildings and infrastructure. We keep just challenging their education system by siege, by imposing even restriction on mobility in infrastructure, rehabilitation of their buildings. We have been trying many things, but they are still sustaining. They are still just sustaining their education system. Now we want to do it in a systematic way. They just came, I mean, the way, even if maybe we have the chance maybe next time or sometime to show the photos, they are coming inside the campus, very comfortable. There is no battle. There is no action. So they are very systematic way destroyed, just install their explosions in one building and then destroy the building and then another building and third building and fourth building. Then when they complete the whole campus, they leave. And they are making jokes, they are filming, they are posting on social media, they are laughing while they are doing these crimes, And this is just reflecting, it is not kind of a battle and they had to destroy the buildings. That was intentional. And now what is the situation right now with education is very important, because frankly to say, at the beginning we were shocked. It was really massive, but also we as individuals, we were targeted. Part of our colleagues were targeted, they were killed along with their families. We lost everything. All the infrastructure was destroyed. All the 11 universities in Gaza were destroyed. We have more than 117 scholars were killed along with their families. We have thousands of students killed. We lost our houses as academics, as administrators of the universities. We have nowhere to go. We have to be displaced. And at individual level, even we were shocked. We don't know what to do. But after like 2-3 months, we started to think, okay, because we believe it is a battle, knowledge battle. So the Israelis are trying to erase the presence of the Palestinian people of this land, the identity of those people. And education is actually a major component of our identity as Palestinian. And therefore, they are trying to erase education system. Exactly, therefore, they are actually trying to steal our archive, our culture. They are claiming, like, as you may just know, they are claiming even, like falafel is Israeli food or hummus is Israeli food. They are trying to steal our culture, not only our land as well. So they want to steal this, and therefore we thought, okay, the hope for the future is the presence and sustainability of our education system that is represented by our education institutions. We talked with different donors, we talked with different institutions, asking them for support. And then we got 2 messages. Negative messages, but the second one is really threatening message. The first message we got, education, who cares about education right now? Even not primary education, you are talking about higher education. People don't have food to eat, don't have shelter. We need actually to prioritize the humanitarian support. We have no actually money for this. It's not in a priority list. But the second message was really frightening for us. The second message, okay, there is no academic institutions anymore. Institutions are gone. So we may have some students, we need to find them place where they can actually do their, obtain their degrees. We may have some scholars who we may just find them a solution or somewhere to work. Yeah. And then that was really alarming for us. And maybe, Sundus was referring to that statement that was made by academic institutions in Gaza, that with a main message for the whole international community: yes, they destroyed our buildings, yes, they destroyed our infrastructure, but we believe universities are not buildings. Universities are communities. We are still there. We are still operating on the ground of Gaza, and we will not stop. We will not give up. And then we started with establishment of the emergency committee. that actually reflect the priorities and needs of Palestinian universities on the ground of Gaza to resume their operations and to sustain the resilience model of the education system on the ground of Gaza. And we started the online education. Al-Azhar University Gaza was the first to start this. And I still remember at that time we were accused being crazy. Even colleagues were accusing us being crazy. I mean, students, they live in tents, no electricity, no internet, no food, no water. It's a risky, bombardment everywhere. So you are thinking about higher education in such situation, online education. Who's going to sign up for this? Actually, this is me, myself. I was convinced that this is even difficult. But for us, it was a battle for our national identity and our presence on the ground of Gaza. Therefore, I was dreaming of getting 1,000 students out of the 14,000 students that are registered at Al-Azhar University to sign up for the online courses. And that was really impressive for me, that we got 10,000 students. 10,000 out of the 14,000 were signing up for the online courses. And believe me, the level of commitment that were showed by our student is something even beyond my imagination. I got some of my students, one of my students, her name is Nermeen Zaytuniya. Nermeen Zaytuniya, on the date, of the final exam, the Israelis bombarded the neighbor's house. So her mother and her sister were killed, and she has a phylum, but she doesn't have even a good internet to upload her exam on the Moodle platform. So she could actually deliver it to a neighbor instructor, and he was asking me the permission if he can submit it for her in the same day when she lost her mother and her sister. We have like too many examples. We have many of our students who were killed actually because they were seeking internet connection in internet coffee shop. And we have many even master students who were defending their thesis in tents. So we are operating. We completed the first semester, the second semester, the third semester, and we are starting now the fourth semester. But we still need support. What kind of support we need? We need financial support. Most of those activities that are provided by scholars inside Gaza live in tents without any capacity, without any need. They are made on a voluntary basis, because the only financial means to sustain the operation of the university dependent on the income coming from the student fees. With all the atrocities that we have currently, we cannot ask the students for fees, but also we are providing the services, and we have even the operational costs. Therefore, the emergency committee has established a ISNAD program that was actually managed by Ta'awun. Ta'awun is an internationally acknowledged NGO, where actually we can receive donation to scholarship to cover the fees for Palestinian students inside Gaza. Also, through the emergency committee, we could establish several platforms where we actually receive even volunteers to teach Gaza students, but under our programs, like volunteers at Palestinian universities inside Gaza, to substitute the number of colleagues who are killed or missing or are not capable to provide teaching. We are also working on a joint international cooperation program to conduct research in Gaza, considering this institutional cooperation model as a very important tool to conduct urgently needed research in Gaza in all disciplines. And when I talk about research in Gaza, we need research in Gaza for mainly two reasons and in all disciplines. regardless if we are talking about health, education, environment, social, economic, legal, all disciplines, we need to do research. First thing, we need a documentation of all those atrocities and the crimes, because we believe one day those criminals will be held accountable for what they did in Gaza and the implication of those atrocities on the life of people. But also it's urgently needed because we need to reflect on the Palestinian narrative. Now you see even Trump has his vision how Gaza should be rebuilt. But I believe no one should say actually how Gaza should be rebuilt. Gazans should actually have the say to decide how they would like to see their Gaza rebuilt. And Palestinian narrative in all sectors should be reflected through a documented research and participatory research to reflect the Palestinian vision, how they would like to see Gaza rebuilt again. And most important thing, we need to keep talking advocacy for what's going on, not only during the genocide, but even contextualizing this, reflecting the long-term settler colonialism project and its implication on the lives of people inside Palestine, and to stand always to support institutions in Gaza to sustain their operation, to support the Palestinian people and their resilience over the ground of Gaza. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Al-Jaman. This is phenomenal, the information we're receiving. It's both devastating and deeply inspiring at the same time. So thank you also for your voice. Again, a good transition, because you mentioned the importance of partnerships with universities in Palestine. And we have our next speaker, who most on this call know very well, Dr. Karame, who is going to be speaking about Harvard University, where she is a professor, its cancellation of its relationship to Birzeit. And, we need to now talk about how the genocide, how the scholasticide also manifests itself in the United States specifically, and other Western countries as well. We see universities actually extending partnerships with Israeli universities at this time, at the same time that we have examples like the Birzeit partnership being canceled. It needs to be restored. We know that for Ukraine, both at the moment of the invasion and continuing today, many US universities have intentionally built partnerships with Ukrainian universities for all of the reasons that both Sundus and Ahmed have mentioned, their necessity. That has not happened with Palestine or with Gaza. Dr. Karame, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you everyone for your attention. I know our webinars are long, but we try to cram so much in them so that we have the information available for everyone, especially because they are recorded. So I like to first announce that I am speaking in my own capacity. I'm not representing my institution, and I'm not representing my workplace, and this has been a strong request for me to do that. So I just want to do that at the beginning. And I wanted to speak briefly about the partnership that was ongoing between Birzeit University and Harvard University. The partnership was focused on a lot of research that was happening in the School of Public Health. And there is a lot of projects about settler colonialism and how it affects health. There is a lot of projects about epidemiology of certain diseases and how health manifests in occupied Palestine. That was done through University of Birzeit epidemiology department. So the partnership was robust, and there was a lot of research that is being done and a lot of publications. The researchers at Birzeit University are exceptional. And Sundus will probably know them. If she's still here, she probably left. But Dr. Rita Giacomo is one excellent researcher who did a lot of projects with the university. So it was very a rich partnership that allowed a lot of academic collaboration between professors at Birzeit and many professors at Harvard. And Birzeit is not only partnering with Harvard, it partners with many other universities. So I'm just speaking about it because of my own position. The termination of the partnership happened recently as part of the preparation of what the Trump administration has been requesting from the university, even though the request has not been even made publicly. The university immediately started cutting down everything that is related to Palestine under the premise of DEI and that it is not good for scholarship and it is not good for academic freedom, which is a very subversive way of eliminating a diversity, equity, inclusion programs with the assumption that they do not allow for academic freedom. What it means, there is a phrase that is being used, which is viewpoint diversity. Viewpoint diversity is a phrase that is used for insisting on having any viewpoint being opposed by the viewpoint that contradicts it. So if we are speaking about the right of women to choice, then we have to immediately have somebody speak about the right of the pro-life movement or something like that. So they eliminated the Palestinian programs, thinking that these are programs that only focus on advocacy. There is no real scholarship in it, and it is political, and it should be removed. My interpretation of this is that this is a manifestation of severe anti-Palestinian racism, where the Palestinian story is not allowed to be narrated unless it is approved by the people, by groups that actually oppress Palestinians, occupy Palestinians, and are responsible for the genocide that is being inflicted on Palestinians. And it is not only racism, it is actually fatal racism, because in this case, anti-Palestinian racism is killing the people in Gaza and is eliminating the education in the West Bank and allowing children to be taken hostages by the Israeli authorities without even a charge in the West Bank. So this is an extreme situation where we are seeing the attack on the life, the attack on the education, and the attack on scholarship as well. And this is a call for us, especially in the universities, to continue to speak up, continue to make spaces for these important academic discussions, because ultimately academia is about finding the truth and finding ways to improve humanity. If we're not doing that, we are complicit. And I don't have many other things to say. I think the information that is coming from Palestine is way more important and way more interesting. My part is literally an example of how the oppression of the Palestinian people is extending beyond the geographic locations of where Palestinians are in Gaza and the West Bank. And we continue to endure, and we continue to practice sumud together. And we continue to draw our inspiration from people like Sundus, like Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Nader, and Dr. Abu Rish, Dr. Al-Bursh. They are our inspiration every day. and we look at them for guidance, and they are our moral compass. And thank you so much, Thomas.
Thank you, Dr. Karame. We are going to move along. I have a very brief presentation of just a few minutes, and then I want to encourage everyone to stay with us. We know we're at their 2-hour mark, but after my brief comments, we're going to transition to Maisa and Nidal to speak about a new initiative, which hopefully helps to bring us some hope along with the sadness and the devastation. But I'm going to speak very briefly on campus repression in the United States as an element of global scholasticide. So while we can talk about the scholasticide in Palestine, and especially in Gaza, as the destruction of physical infrastructure, the assassination and murder of professors, students, and other educational personnel, the disruption of relationships, the disruption of funding and access for global non-governmental institutions like UNRWA, we can also speak about the ways in which scholasticide's purview is extended well beyond Palestine to encompass all educational institutions in places like the United States and Western Europe. And one manifestation of this is the severing of relationships to which Karame just spoke, with the example of the relationship between Harvard and Berzait. However, the manifestations in higher education go well beyond the severing of institutional partnerships. It also includes draconian attempts to silence speech on university campuses, with threats of disciplinary action, arrest, and even disappearance and deportation. In fact, the willingness of university administrations and their boards to appease wealthy donors and genocidally complicit politicians by repressing campus speech as anti-Semitism has provided precisely the documentation that the Trump administration needed to fuel its attack on higher education. Claiming that universities were not doing enough to punish anti-Semitism, so-called, and protect Jewish students, the Trump administration has withheld or threatened to withhold federal funding of universities, has threatened universities' tax-exempt status, has put or threatened to put programs that focus on the Middle East and North Africa under receivership, has abducted, disappeared, and deported students and faculty, and has defunded and canceled university institutional research in partnership with the National Institutes of Health, the National Science Foundation, and other federal bodies. We really must not underestimate the importance of this repressive dimension of scholasticide outside Palestine, and especially in the United States, enabling and perpetrating the genocide. We know that the United States is the senior partner in the genocide, providing the most advanced weaponry in the world to wipe out children and their families, providing massive funding for the weaponry, and providing logistical military support and political cover. The silence and consent of the American people is one of the most important pillars of sustaining the horrors we heard about and saw in the first portion of our webinar today. This genocidally complicit silence is manufactured both over time through decades of non-education and miseducation about Palestine, and through the near complete debilitation of discourse permeating higher education and schools in general on the genocide today. So we have to think about what some people have called the Israelization of Western and U.S. society. It was always a very strong component. But the repression is also a key component of the Israeli and U.S. assault that allows the genocide. And so scholasticide manifests itself in particular ways in the United States as well. So I said I'd be brief. We're going to turn now to our final presentation, which represents the rollout of a new initiative within Doctors Against Genocide called NABQA HUNA. And its purpose is to incentivize and help implement pilot programs in the health and educational sectors to begin to forward some of the reconstruction and the reparations that needs to take place. And so I turn it over now to Nidal Jabour and Maisa Hawash. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Badroni. Thank you, Sondes and Dr. Ahmed, for the great, profound, and very intelligent presentation and analysis, and the framework of the Scholasticide and exposing the Israeli crimes that have been committed against education for the last century, not just in the last few years. And thank you for everyone who's still with us. Thank you, Dr. Karama, on highlighting the role of the Western institutions of enabling this scholasticide on the Palestinian educational system. Thank you for your support and your contribution, Dr. Badroni. And now we're gonna launch this modest and simple contribution against the crime of scholasticide that Doctors Against Genocide is trying to be part of. I'm here, we have Maisa Hawash with us. She's the Director of Global Outreach for Doctors Against Genocide. If you please can start with the NABQA HUNA song, please. Maisa.
Apologies, just give me 2 seconds.
Sure.
Take your time. You're still better than any one of us at this, so we cannot complain.
Too many presentations in one day. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah. Thank you, Maisa. For those who do not speak Arabic, the terms might be a little bit confusing. As you all know, the Palestinians have been undergoing Nakba since 1948 and even before. And Nakba means catastrophe, and catastrophe means a genocide. It's a denied genocide that has been going on since 1948, and actually since the Zionist project was even launched in 1897. So Nakba, genocide. Nakba means catastrophe. The answer of the native people, indigenous people, to Nakbas, to catastrophes, is by resilience. And the answer to Nakba in Arabic is Nabqa. Nabqa means we shall remain. We will remain steadfast despite it all. So please pay attention to the difference. It's only one letter difference, but the meaning is completely the opposite. So Nabqa is the Palestinian answer to the Nakba. And to be also very clear, the Palestinians did not choose to be resilient. They did not choose to be heroes. We don't want to be heroes. We were forced to be heroes because the whole world, the major powers in the world, the Western powers in the world have imposed this on us. They have the intent to destroy us since day one, since 1987. So despite that, all major powers in the world and whatever called the Judeo-Christian, moral part of the world, and despite us being alone, only supported by all people of good conscience all over the world, the people, but not their governments. Their governments are all against the Palestinian people. And despite this, the Palestinian people being isolated, being criminalized, being terrorized, being displaced, they continue to be resilient, and we will continue to use whatever means we have, despite all the difficulties, to NABQA HUNA, NABQA HUNA. And this is a song from the children in a school in North Gaza, Jabalia camp. It's called Al Fakhura School, that has been bombed many times and has been not educating any child for the last 19 months, and has been turned into a refugee, a place for, for people to refuge and stay there, as part of our attempt to give the students there some access to education, with the help of Dr. Badroni and Doctors Against Genocide, Dr. Hawash and Maisa, and with all your support. We started a small program, pilot program at that school. We rented 2 tents at that school, and we opened 2 classes for first grade, second grade, third grade, and fourth grade. We had 70 students who started this project. It's been going on for almost 2-3 weeks now. It's a new project. We have a few teachers there on the ground. One of them is Dr. Muhammad Azami, who's leading the project in Al Fakhura School. He used to be a teacher at that school for more than 30 years. He and many teachers who are displaced at this school with their children and their families are starting this initiative. We're trying to support them. Teacher Muhammad Azam was supposed to be with us today, but unfortunately, due to the extreme situation there, he could not join us. So we do have some recorded videos for him and for the children. He actually, they were attacked. They had bombing near the school 2 days ago, and he barely escaped death, him and his granddaughter. I think she got wounded. We're really worried for their safety, them and all the children and all the people in the school. We did not hear back from him in the last 36 hours. I hope they are safe, and I hope the students continue to have some hope. If you want to share some of the pictures, Maisa, from the children there and the initiative. So these are some of the teachers. Dr. Muhammad, Ustad Muhammad is there.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف خلق الله. بسم الله نبدأ عامنا الدراسي الجديد بفضل جهودكم إخواننا في جمعية أطباء ضد الإبادة. نبدأ عامنا الدراسي الجديد في مدرسة الفخورة في مخيم جباليا بفضل الله. هناك إقبال كثير على هذه المبادرة، أكثر من 70 طالب حتى الآن اشتركوا. طلاب الصف الثالث والرابع مبسوطين على الهدية؟ هذه ما شاء الله عليك. بيان. شكرا لكل من يرسم الابتسامة على وجوه أطفالنا.
So the teacher Muhammad with the student.
أحلى جوري. جوري عن جد جوري. شكرا يا شباب، وإن شاء الله بنتمنى لكم عام دراسي موفق.
They are starting their classes in the small tents inside the school.
إخواننا في جمعية أطباء ضد الإبادة نحن متواجدون في.
This is the teacher going to the last remaining store or bookstore in Gaza to buy some supplies for the children with the support of Doctors Against Genocide and all of you out there who are supporting us. So your support.
شباب أنا بدي حدا يحكي لي اسمه ووين ساكن والبلدة الأصلية تبعته.
جوري مازن العربي من جباليا بلدتي هرب.
ممتاز. يا حبيبتي.
شامي ضارب حمد السحار سكان جباليا بلدتي الأصلية الجية.
ممتاز. يا عمي.
أنا محمد سعد أبو سعد أستاذ من جباليا بلدتي.
أهلا وسهلا فيكي. يا حبيبتي.
علي حسن يقبل سكان جباليا
بلدك.
مجدل.
أهلا وسهلا في مجدل وأهلا وسهلا بيافا. الكفر عكر كل مدننا في الداخل. يا حبيبي.
محمد أحمد عاطف عفانة ساكن أنا بجباليا بلدة السوافير غرب.
أهلا وسهلا فيك. أهلا وسهلا فيك.
That one day they organized for the children of the school. Everything was done by the students, the beautiful and amazing students of Gaza. Cannot hear you, Karama, you're muted, Karama.
It's very hard to hear you.
Hard to hear you also. Those faces
Beautiful.
are beautiful.
I'm just going to say one of the things that this project also provides is the stationery from a bookstore that has survived the bombing, because we were actually impressed that they were able to get stationery for the children to work on. And also in Gaza, there are these fortified biscuits that have vitamins and nutrients. I am sure they taste amazing, but I'm joking, but these are the biscuits can actually prevent malnutrition, and part of what we are doing to help the teachers is to actually buy the nutrition for them. They are found on the market. They're extremely expensive, but as you can see, there is resilience and there is sumud, and the children want to learn and they want to do their homework, and they will do it in the tent, on the soil. They will do anything to learn. Children are eager for normalized life, and these small things, even if it's a tent that has very little but has some activity for them, this is what we call in medicine positive childhood experience, that actually builds resilience and improves the outcome. So no matter how little we can do, if we can do something, it's definitely better than nothing, and it's the least that we can do.
I'll drop the project donation link in a moment.
What do you want to say about the project, Mason?
What do I want to say about the project? I said I will just drop the donation link in the next few moments after the.
So me, Maisa, Tam, and Karama, and teacher Muhammad, we are running this project, and I'm really grateful for all of them for thinking it from the scratch. And again, it is a small project. It is, as Karama mentioned, in a tent, but it is something. I mean, if there is anything that we can give the children, we will not, stay behind. Since there has been a full blockade in Gaza for the last 3 months, since we cannot allow aid or supplies from outside, we at Doctors Against Genocide have kind of switched strategy in the last 3 months, and we're trying to help our people there buy from inside Gaza the supplies and the food, and everything is very limited, it's very scarce. That's why it's very, very expensive. But unfortunately, since this is the only means available for us, we have been trying this. Again, this campaign is called NABQA HUNA, which means in English, we will remain, we will stay steadfast, we will not move. It is the Palestinian answer to Nakba. It is the Palestinian answer to genocide. And it has two arms. It has the educational arm, like this example at this school. This is the pilot at this school, and hopefully we'll be able to reciprocate this and do it or duplicate this in other schools. And it has a medical arm, We have been helping people in Gaza, the healthcare industry, especially the ambulance services, since most of the ambulances have been attacked and targeted, and no new ambulances are allowed to come from outside. Some of our colleagues on the ground have been buying old cars that are not ambulances, and they're trying to reshape them and remodel them to make them ambulances. And we have been also supporting them. Our group of paramedics that we support around Kamal Udwan Hospital, they bought an older vehicle, and they're turning it into a reasonably functioning ambulance, and we're trying to support this. That will be the NABQA HUNA medical or healthcare. There is the NABQA HUNA educational, which is to support the schools as much as we can. Again, unfortunately, the school, they had bombing very close to the school 2 days ago, and the students have to leave in the middle of the class. And as we mentioned earlier, the teacher and his granddaughter barely escaped death. God protect them. We pray for them. Please, everyone, pray for their safety. Pray that we'll hear back from them again so we can enjoy more and more beautiful pictures of their strong and smiley faces. Look at these kids. Look how beautiful they are, how innocent they are. All what they want is just to live. That's all what they're asking for. And all what they don't understand is why are they being targeted? Why are they denied life? Just basic life. These children are not a threat to the American empire. They are not a threat to the Zionist empire. These are just small kids who enjoy the simple things in life. Just a small bag, plain bag, a book, a pen, a toy, a dance, a song. I think we all agree that every child in the world has the right to these things. They are not asking for much. But the Western Empire, the American Empire, with its collusion with the Zionist genocidal regime, are denying these children from the most basic thing in life. They are denying them life itself. I'm really scared that next time we hear from these people, that whole school with almost 1,000 people displaced there might have been attacked or forcibly removed. So pray for them, please. And no action is small. Every voice matters. Every voice
Dr.
matters.
Nidal, Dr. Tom, today is Thursday, 15th of May. I'm sorry we've asked pupils to return to their tents because there are very severe bombings here around our shelter. Just after starting the lesson, we had to ask students to come back to their tents.
This is the teacher explaining that.
Jabalia is extremely dangerous these days.
I can pause, Nidal.
Yeah, this is the teacher explaining that 2 days ago, just after they started their lesson, and you see those two boards that they were teaching the kids, they were forced to evacuate it because the bombing was very close to them, and the situation in Jabalia camp is very dire and very dangerous. All what we provided these kids is with, these tents, the boards, the simple things, and they felt like it's coming from heaven. They're really very, very appreciative, although they really deserve 1,000 times more than this, because they did not need to go through this. Go ahead, Mesa. Do we have anything else to share about?
Bombings are everywhere. Bombing here, explosion.
Yeah, that's the same video.
I think it's the same one. I think this is it.
Nidal
Yes.
and Mesa, did we mention that also the project pays for the salaries of the teachers?
I think so, actually. But I'll drop the link actually for the donations.
Which is very important because, you know, we also want to give the teachers agency and independence. I mean, we are talking about a very, very small project in the middle of a severe catastrophe. But it is what we can do, and if we can get it done, we should do it. And for transparency, the funds are sent to the teachers or one of the teachers' relatives' bank account, and there is a very high commission that is taken on any money that gets to Gaza. So the commission is at least 30, if not 40%. But at least we can get it to them so that they can buy supplies, they can get some pocket money for the kids, a small salary for the teachers, and money to buy these fortified biscuits so that they can keep these healthy children, keep them healthy and not allow them to starve and develop severe health manifestations of malnutrition. So we really are committed to this. We will continue to be in touch with them and support them, and hopefully scale up as much as possible. One of the things that that allows us to do this is that we are a small organization and we do things with collaboration with people on the ground. So we know exactly who is getting the donations, who is getting the funds, what they will do with the funds. They can send us pictures. We can actually speak to them, speak to the children. I think it's very reassuring, and it's also very rewarding to have this personal connection. And one of the things that we are hoping to do, and we are actually building, is an app that connects the people in Gaza with people outside Gaza. We're starting with the medical community, so medical professional students can connect with a medical student or a nurse in the US or in Canada or anywhere else, and have a personal relationship that can serve as a support system, emotional support, solidarity, and even financial support. Because amidst a genocide, what we can do is work to end the genocide and support the community that is suffering by showing them that we care, that we are in their corner, that we are seeking justice for them, and we continue to think of them, and life is not normal for us as long as life is not normal for them.
So please help us save these children. Please help us to keep providing for them, and please help us so we can expand this project to other schools. These children have the right to life. They have the right to food. They have the right to education. They have the right to smile, like all children in the world. And it is an obligation on all of us to guarantee this right. We can all do more. We all need to speak up more. We all need to think about other ways. No action is too small. Please talk to your circles, talk to your friends, to your family. Please talk to your institution. Please talk to your officials. Please email them. Please write about this. Please post about this. The fact that this genocide and deliberate attack on education, on life, on medicine is still going means that not enough people in the world have spoken up so far, and not enough people have did all what they can. And despite that, the people in power are complicit on this and intent on this genocide and colluding with genocidal regimes. The power of the people can always change this balance and this trajectory. No action is too small. Anything you do will make a little difference until there are enough people of good conscience around the world who are speaking up and putting fear, instilling fear in the heart of the corrupt politicians who are committing these crimes. And again, thanks to the doctors and the colleagues who talked about the healthcare destruction and about the scholasticide. We know that genocidal regimes deliberately attack the intelligentsia of any community. That includes the education, the professors, the students, the schools, the universities, the hospitals, the doctors, the nurses, the journalists, the artists, because the intelligentsia of any people is what keeps the backbone of that people as people, what helps them think, what helps them organize, what helps them resist the erasure against them, and what helps them rebuild. So this is a deliberate attack to get rid of those people, and usually they are actually targeted more than average people, because once they get rid of the intelligence of any community, it becomes easier to herd the regular people who have no skills or no education. And also, there is the deliberate attack on childhood, because that is the future. That's why, as the doctor mentioned, the percentage of child attack and the attacks against children lately has increased. It was 30%, now it's more than 40% of those killed are children. Again, we can all do more. Please do more. Please, if each one of us can recruit one more person to speak up, if each one of us can have an extra phone call, an extra email, an extra letter, an extra op-ed, an extra discussion at his school, at his institution, at his hospital, we can make a difference. We cannot be silent. We cannot be part of this crime committed in front of our eyes. And with the help of all people, good conscious all over the world, who can be in America, in the West, who can be white, black, brown, I think this genocide had divided the world into two groups. People who care, and those people can be any color, they can be any religion, they can be any nationality. And people who don't care, who are very selfish, or who benefit from exploitation or genocide. And those also can be any color, any nationality, any religion. So we want the people who care, the people of good conscience all over the world, whoever they are, wherever they are, please do more and recruit more people of good conscience, because this is our world. We need to claim our world. We need a better world for us now and for our children in the future, because we refuse this reality created by the genocidal Zionist project and the imperialist and genocidal imperialist Western powers. We, the people, deserve more, and we should claim it. We should make it the new reality with all your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Nidal.
I want to just underline the importance of two campaigns that we've talked about today. The NABQA HUNA campaign, and then Dr. Ahmed also spoke about the urgent campaign with the Emergency Committee of Universities in Gaza. I see a very important connection between the two and a lot of the discourse that is prevalent even among Gazans themselves. So when I mentioned the school in Jabalia camp, a Gazan friend of mine who I respect politically in every other way said, Tom, there's nothing there. Jabalia camp is flattened. There's nothing remains. I mean, you saw the children, the children are there. They do remain. And I think we should think about who, as horrible as the crimes of Israel have been in creating the horrific images that we see, it only serves their agenda to say that people are not there anymore, that there's nothing there anymore. And so in some ways, it's very symbolic to take Jabalia camp, which has been which has been one of the most hard hit, to show that even life is still there. Even children who are still there, who want to learn, who are taking joy in the smallest moments, is absolutely key. So I do encourage people, I think we have the link posted to help spread this message that people will stay, that they're still there, even in the most miserably destroyed, in terms of concrete infrastructure. There are still children there with smiles and hope. And I know that Dr. Ahmed also has his hand up, so I want to transition to him real quickly by emphasizing the same imagery. He's and the same mission that he spoke to, which is, yes, all of the universities have been destroyed, but that's not the end of the story.
Yeah.
In the midst of that, he hoped to get 1,000 people to participate online in continuing their education and got 10,000, a huge proportion of the total. So Dr. Ahmed, I know you had your hand up, so you took it down, but I wanted to refer to you in case you wanted to.
Thank you very much. I would like just to appreciate this initiative. It's really impressive, and it's really reflecting this soul that we would like, and this voice that we would like to deliver, that the Palestinians are still there, they are still resilient, they are still trying to live their life on their ground. And I really appreciate the effort and the project. It's really great. And I really would also utilize even, I really appreciate also got to know about this, because also we can advocate for this initiative, which is very important and very supportive. And maybe, I don't know, maybe one small issue that I sometimes I don't feel comfortable when we get like young children or even adults receiving anything in front of the camera and just getting the photos. I mean, getting the photos of the children while they are playing, while they are just doing their classes, singing, dancing. This is a good thing. But when they receive anything like food or bags or something like this, uh, sometimes I don't feel comfortable with this, because this is touching somehow the dignity of those children and their families. I am from Gaza, and I know many people actually, and this is related to the culture of the Gazans. We actually are coming, we have the dignity for us is very important. And most of those cases, they used to be actually having I would not say like wealthy, but also kind of a certain living standard that actually, for sure, they will not be comfortable if the images of their children are utilized, as you know, like a vulnerable, poor children are receiving something. So the activity itself, it's really impressive. The children dancing, singing, learning, sitting in the class. This is something really impressive, and I liked it. But maybe the images for them while they are receiving some biscuits or bags and just like appreciation from the children. Me, myself, I feel not really comfortable with this. And I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm reflecting something from my culture. But I do really appreciate the whole initiative. It's really great one, and I would really love to support it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for sharing this with us. This is exactly what we want to hear as feedback, because this feedback is very important. We are also Palestinians, as you probably know, Nidal, myself, and Mesa, and we are very sensitive to these things. And even us, sometimes we do not get it right. So your feedback is well noted, and thank you.
And yes, Dr. Ahmed, you are not mistaken. Thank you for the feedback. And we always, as Palestinian, as also emphasize the dignity of the Palestinian people who are going through this. We always try to be careful and not to make these mistakes. But thank you for reminding us that we too ourselves can make mistakes. That's why we insist on speaking to our people in Gaza, because we want to hear their voice. Even as Palestinians who are living in the West now, although we're very close to them and we know a lot about them, we still do not want to hijack their voice. We want the child in Gaza, the teacher in Gaza, the doctor in Gaza, the nurse in Gaza, the lady in Gaza to speak her own truth and to correct us when we get it wrong. So thank you, and we promise to be more careful next time. It wasn't our intention, but thank you for this, Dr. Ahmed.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for this comment, but yes.
No, please, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. We are the ones who are sorry. Don't be sorry. That's exactly why we have you there.
Yes, that's
Because we have many doctors, we have many people who can speak on behalf of Gaza here in the United States or all over the place, and we can have them very easily. I mean, they're available. We can have them on video whenever we want, but we insist on having to hear from the doctors in Gaza and the people in Gaza, despite the difficulties, the internet connections, because we know that the people, every people, have the right to speak their own truth in their own way, in their own language, in their own flavor, in their own narrative. That is a human right, not to just have others speak on their behalf or to speak of what is good and what's bad for them. So we really appreciate this, Dr. Ahmed. Are we? Go ahead. Any more comments, guys?
I think we are done.
We're done. I think most of the questions were answered in the chat. And
thank you, everyone. See you next time.
So, as usual, our mission ends with freedom. Freedom for all. For all. Our mission ends with liberation. Liberation for all. Our mission ends with justice. Justice for all. Our mission ends when the people of good conscience all over the world reclaim their worth and their world and create the world that we all deserve. The children in Gaza, the women in Gaza, the doctors in Gaza, the people all over the world, the children in Sudan, in Congo, Rohingya, anywhere where there's injustice. We all deserve better, and believe it or not, it's doable, it's achievable if we, the people, insist on it. It's not complicated. Do not listen to any politician, any leader who say this is too complicated, cannot be done. Everything can be fixed. The genocide in Palestine can be ended with one single phone call from President Trump, who claimed that Biden is weak and he could not stop it, and he's the strong man. So we are calling upon him to stop it. If you are really strong and if you want to bring peace, you can stop it with one phone call. No excuses. We know you can do it. Ronald Reagan stopped the genocide in Beirut, in South Lebanon, with one phone call. And since you always preach or say that you follow the legacy of Reagan, then do it and end this genocide now. No more negotiations, no more delays. Every minute that goes by, tens and hundreds of children, of women get killed, get injured. Millions of innocent people are being starved every minute, every day that goes by. And we cannot wait more. They cannot wait more for more excuses. So thank you, everyone. Please speak up, do more. Every action counts. No action is too small. United we stand, divided we fall. The people united will never be defeated. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
here, everyone.